of our favorites, Tatis and Nair.
Great game. 50 seconds to go. Hurts. Deep shot. Hold in, Devontae.
Sure. Before the press conferences even start. I mean, we could talk for 45 minutes just about how atrocious the defense is.
He's just picking the big guys. Jordan Mailata, he's huge. He'll be good later on. Josh Sweat, he's tall as hell and strong. Let's get him. We'll figure him out. It's working.
Good morning, everybody. Wow, I don't think I've ever said that before. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Trending in the AM right here on DSM Media. I am Phil Stiefel. This is Jeremy Horwath. We are debuting here today. It's the first ever. No other Philly sports podcast is doing it. A daily morning show every Monday through Friday, 8:30 a.m. Normally, you see me with my whiskey or my vodka. We got coffee. That's how early in the morning it is for me. Yep. So welcome to the show, everybody. Again, Jeremy, this is going to be a blast, isn't it?
Oh, it definitely is going to be a blast. Waking up this early, it might not be, but once you're actually up and starting the show, I am so excited. So excited to get this going. It's something that both of us wanted to do for a pretty long time. So I'm happy we can finally get in and start doing this.
Yeah, no, this is awesome. So the point of this show is not just going to be an Eagles show or just the Sixers. We're going to cover all Philly sports, 4 for 4, 5 for 5. Trying to line up some Philadelphia Union people to come on to talk about that team because at least they made the playoffs already this year. So we're going to bring up a lot of different topics, but we're also going to just touch on national topics as well. Whatever is, technically trending in the morning when we get up. And, by doing it in the morning, it gives us like a different variety of guests that we could bring on as well. So there's going to be a lot of different things that we talk about on this show. But Jeremy, we're going to start with the Eagles game. Obviously, they beat the Detroit Lions 44-6.
They did.
And something I do every Monday on my Twitter page, and if anybody wants to jump on my Twitter page today and give me their answers to this, they're more than welcome to. I always do something on Mondays called #Overreaction Monday. So Jeremy, you're on the spot. I didn't even tell you about Overreaction Monday before the show. I want you to give me your #Overreaction Monday to that Eagles win yesterday.
So what do you mean by Overreaction Monday? Like
the Eagles are winning the Super Bowl now. No, I'm just being a little sarcastic by that.
Yeah, right.
Jordan Howard should be starting. Nick Sirianni obviously figured it out. Like something that we're not talking overreaction to like the Super Bowl. We're talking how you can overreact to that game from yesterday.
The way you can overreact to that game is that, I think you kind of said it right there, is that Nick Sirianni figured it out. I think that would be an overreaction of him figuring anything out. I don't think him running the ball 40 times in that game figured anything out when we just kept on running over the Detroit Lions. But I guess that could be your overreaction Monday, is that Nick Sirianni like maybe put a little bit more faith into him. I mean, maybe put some faith that he'll run the ball a little bit more. But I am still definitely worried that just next Sunday he's going to come out and he'll run the ball a few times. And once it doesn't work, because you're not playing the Detroit Lions, the winless Lions, most teams are going to be able to stop that in a couple of runs. You're not going to be able to rush for 200 and however many yards they had. You're not going to have three guys.
236 rushing yards yesterday.
236 rushing yards.
Yeah.
So that's not
insane.
It's not going to happen. You face the Lions. Now the Chargers do have a bad run defense, so we might be talking a little bit different there, but it's not going to keep on going that way when we keep on running. Nick Sirianni, I'm worried about once they do figure him out and they stop running the ball, when they start figuring out how to stop running the ball, I'm worried. I mean, Jalen Hurts had 14 passing attempts yesterday. It's definitely worrisome, but we'll see. I mean, he did the job yesterday.
My overreaction is that the Eagles can win 9 games this year. I know. I know. But you know what? They played well. Maybe we saw a quarter. I mean, it's an overreaction. Come Wednesday when I do trending, for 4 quarters at 9 p.m. at night on Wednesday, my opinions will totally go back to normal and realistic expectations. But right now, looking at the rest of the schedule, the rest of the year, and we play like we did against Detroit, we could win some games. Because remember, we got the Giants twice, Washington twice, the Jets. We got 5 winnable games in a row right there.
Yeah.
So, that means you only have to win 1 of your other 4 games. So, we talked about this game last night, or yesterday afternoon. You say they can't run the ball, but this offensive line is built to run.
Yeah.
That is what they thrive at. And Jordan Howard looked like he had fresh legs. I called the Boston Scott touchdown in the Boston Scott game yesterday beforehand. Where Kenneth Gainwell was, I have no idea. That is something I want to look into and all. But, Jordan Howard looked fresh. The offensive line looked happy run blocking like that. I know what's his name went down with an injury early in the game. But for the most part, we came out of the game uninjured and unscathed. So I think it's a really good building block for Sirianni and the offense, not Jalen Hurts, because we can get into that negative in a bit. But I think it's a really good building block for the offense and their confidence level going into this next week.
No, yeah, definitely. And that's something that I've always kind of been preaching too, is that our team is built for the run. Our offensive line is built for the run. They are all better run blockers and they all pass blockers. And before Miles Sanders got hurt, we have a really good running back, and our other guys are still really good. So I do think we really are built for the run. Now, when I kept on saying about all of the run game, I'm worried that once we get stopped once or twice, Sirianni is going to step away from it. That's what I'm worried about. I love us running the ball. It's just that Sirianni, we haven't seen what really happens. Every time the run got stopped earlier this year, he kept on doing that RPO stuff.
Well, we didn't see. I've been preaching nonstop that we need less RPOs and more just straight runs or even straight passes. And you saw that, this past week or yesterday that, there were straight pass calls. Yeah. There were straight run calls. He did the RPO a few times and stuff, but it definitely showed taking that pressure off of Jalen Hurts, that he doesn't have to, read the defense, read this and that, and then also read the RPO. Taking that pressure off of him makes a difference. Yeah. And I mean, his passing, I know he only threw 14 times, so it's a small sample size, but his passing still did not look crisp yesterday.
Yeah, I agree.
Again, I don't know how many times we could talk about him stepping out of bounds on rollouts or not throwing the ball away on free plays and some of the bad decisions he makes and all. But I just like not having that decision making. And we can even go back to the Raiders game last week. That first drive of Miles Sanders, they ran the ball, but they also passed the ball a few times, and they were all non-RPO plays. The Miles Sanders went down for some reason. Nick Sirianni, like you said, flipped back to that old mentality. All of a sudden, the RPOs were every single play, and we know how that game went last week. It did not go well. So I'm hoping we can build. I can overreact a little bit today that we can build off of this, and Nick Sirianni realizes that the RPO just isn't what it needs. It's not going to work here for Jalen Hurts, at least not yet at this point in his career.
Right. No, I would totally agree. He seemed to be struggling with it almost every time. I feel like every time he makes a decision, he makes the wrong one. And I know it's not an easy thing to do, but Jalen Hurts just isn't built for it. And that's something that Sirianni, I feel, should know. But I don't know. You never know what's really going on in that locker room behind closed doors. You don't know.
So what do we know? Why did Kenneth Gainwell basically disappear from the offense yesterday? Because I know he had 12 rushes, but almost all, I think he only had one before the fourth quarter. Yeah. They were all guard when they had all the backups and all. I mean, everything pointed to him taking over. He played a lot last week after Miles Sanders went down. He'd actually been getting a lot of touches instead of Boston Scott, when with Miles Sanders out there. Then all of a sudden this week, he's just like he's a no-show. It's kind of odd to me that Kenneth Gainwell did not play a bigger factor in the game.
What my kind of thoughts are about that, I would have loved to see Gainwell. That's something I was arguing for the entire game too, because Gainwell, I know he has a longer future here than someone like Boston Scott or Jordan Howard. So I'd like to see what Kenneth Gainwell has. And we've seen Kenneth Gainwell a good bit so far this year, being in a backup role. But with him, he hasn't started a game before. He hasn't had all the reps that maybe Boston Scott has had before. And maybe Sirianni didn't want to do that to him yet. I'm not really sure why. But that can be the only reason why I can think of that. Or maybe Boston Scott has had a past games against the Lions where he played well. I don't really know what it is. But that's really the only things that I can think of. And just having that power back with Jordan Howard, I like how much rushes Jordan Howard had. I loved it, but I would have liked to see Kenneth Gainwell over Boston Scott more.
I have two different theories. I had one theory on it, and then I was listening to Tim McManus do an interview. So now I have two different theories, maybe one or the other. So maybe Nick Sirianni really is growing, okay, as a play caller and as a coach, just a little bit. I mean, it's one game, overreaction Monday. That is what today is. But he just gave Jordan Howard the ball early in the game one or two times. And he's like, hold on, let's stay with the hot hand. Instead of going back to what, he thought he was going to do. So maybe that aspect, that was my original theory. Look, Jordan Howard got hot. Let's just stick with him. I think maybe he went into the game thinking it would have been, I think between the three of them, they had 37 37 rushes between the three of them because Gainwell had 12 late in the fourth quarter there. But for the most part, out of the 25 rushes, it was 12 Scott, 12 Howard, 1 Kenneth Gainwell. Maybe it was 25 rushes. Maybe the plan was 8 each or something like that. But then Jordan Howard just showed that he had fresh legs. So that was my original theory there, which would be a positive theory to have if that means Nick Sirianni's growing. Other side of that is that Tim McManus was asked on one of the dial channels, which I'm embarrassed to say I listened to a dial channel yesterday on the way home from work. I just needed to hear something before I did the post-game show. And Tim McManus was asked, was it because of potentially Tuesday's the trade deadline in the NFL? Was there potentially it to showcase, maybe it was supposed to be Gainwell and Howard going forward, and they were showcasing a little bit of Boston Scott or even Jordan Howard in the trade market. They're not guys, like you said, of the future of this team. And Tim McManus said that there's some merit to that thought process. Will they get traded? Maybe, maybe not. But they're both guys that could definitely be an asset to a team that's on a playoff push.
Yeah.
So maybe there's a little bit of that showcasing going on Sunday against Detroit, where obviously a bad Detroit defense, you can really build the trade value up of 2 players. Both of them won't get traded, but maybe one of them gets traded and moved by Tuesday afternoon.
Yeah, that's a really good point. That and something else that really made me think that way is Eric Wilson was a healthy scratch yesterday. Now, that was my thought process with Eric Wilson on the fact I didn't think of that with the Boston Scott, Jordan Howard thing. But if that's what they're doing, again, I think that's still another positive. I think anyway, I was having negative thoughts about Gainwell's not in, yada, yada, that. But now over time, I'm like, okay, like the only outcome this is, all of these are positives. So either way, I think this is a good thing that happened. Again, I would have loved to see Gainwell if they fed Gainwell the whole time and he got like a 100-yard game. I'd think that would be awesome and everything.
I would hit a very large parlay if he had some more yards.
Yeah, you would have. I've never seen that.
Him catching no passes away from hitting a very large parlay yesterday.
Yeah.
On the flip side, you bring up Eric Wilson on the defense. The defense obviously played really well yesterday too.
Oh yeah,
6 sacks, 12 quarterback hits, blitzes. I saw press coverage a few times from Slay and Nelson. I was like, this is like not Jonathan Gannon.
Yeah.
But again, this was the 0-7 Lions we were playing, not the 72 Dolphins.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like how do you pull some positivity and like realistic positivity out of it? I just like the thought and the sight of seeing our linemen get home because they've been putting pressure on the quarterback this year. They've just been one step too late.
Yeah.
Giving up, if they have one more second and, blitz, they would get the sacks. So yesterday was a really good sign that they were able to get home, and Jared Goff is slow as molasses. So, I mean, that plays a factor into it too. But, I mean, Sweat got at the quarterback a couple times. Milton Williams had his first sack of his career.
Yeah.
It was a really good all-around game from our defense.
Yeah, that's something that I really like too. And the way you can take out like realistic positivity, again, is what they were actually doing. Like, I know, like, to me, this was like almost like a scrimmage game. Like, hey, we're going to test out what we can do. We're not going to do it against a really good team because we don't want to get burnt and take a lot of heat from it. But the Lions, we can do this too, and we'll see how it can work. Now, when you think of their receivers, Tyrell Williams, I don't even know if he's even playing right now. Amon-Ra St. Brown. I don't think Quintez Cephas is playing. A lot of them lower tier guys that we can do that to. Darius Slay had a great game over there. Actually had that what was
big fumble recovery for the touchdown.
Fumble recovery for 6. Yeah, that's what it was. So yeah, the defense did have a great day. Milton Williams on that sack, that was huge. That was going right before halftime, and oh man, the guy, it looked like Goff Goff was taking.
Can we just say how did Goff play in a Super Bowl? I mean, seriously, the guy. He's right up there with the Trent Dilfers and the other really awful. What's the dude from Tampa Bay that year? Brad Johnson. He's got to be up there as one of the worst starting quarterbacks in Super Bowl history, probably.
That's coaching. That was all coaching. And Todd Gurley had.
Did you say that on Twitter? So I saw somebody bring up Todd Gurley yesterday on Twitter. That's how he played in the Super Bowl. So
yeah. That's why. That's got to be why. Todd Gurley had that crazy year, and now he's not even on the team.
Yeah,
that's crazy. That is so
Jared
crazy.
Goff's making $100 million right now because he's a Super Bowl starting quarterback. It's insane. Like I was just happy. Like you look at the Lions, they're 0-8 now, 0-7 before, but they've been playing really good football.
They have
considering their 0-7 team. They still have T.J. Hawkinson. They still have DeAndre Swift. they still have some talented players on that offense.
Mhm.
And I know TJ Hawkinson had 10 catches yesterday, but we kept him out of the end zone and we kept him under 100 yards. DeAndre Swift had under 50, 55 yards rushing and receiving combined. So those are things they had two weapons and we shut them down. So I'm really feeling the positivity, in that aspect because, they're two really tough guys. I mean, somebody like TJ Hawkinson could have easily put up 2 or 3 touchdowns against us yesterday.
Yeah. Especially with Eric Wilson out. I'm not even a big Eric Wilson guy, but
Eric Wilson's terrible.
Yeah, we had linebackers on Hawkinson. Or Avonte Maddox a couple of times. I saw him on Hawkinson. So I'm surprised Hawkinson didn't kind of ball out more, but I don't think we gave Goff enough time for Hawkinson to really do that.
That's the bonus of getting good pressure on a quarterback.
Yes.
If you hit a quarterback, if you rattle a quarterback, they don't have time to think, and then they start to get that happy feet.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it was definitely more on the line controlling, Hawkinson than it was on any. No offense, Avonte Maddox isn't going to lock down TJ Hawkinson.
No.
He's just not. But if you're getting pressure and you can't put accurate throws on him, that's where it comes into play. So I love that. Back to the Tim McManus. So he also was talking about being sellers or buyers at the deadline, and a lot of people are going to overreaction Monday hashtag. Yeah. That Howie Roseman's going to want to be a buyer after yesterday. And Tim McManus put it into a phrase that really, really made me, I don't know how to say this, feel okay. If we see Howie make trades for players in the next day or so, what the theory is or what the thought process for Howie is, according to Tim McManus, is he's not a buyer because he wants to win the Super Bowl this year. You're going to see him buy players that are controllable players or young players or players in pieces that are in spots that we need moving forward. Another nose tackle, because honestly, Gannon runs that like 3-3 or 3-4 hybrid defense.
Yeah.
We don't have a true guy to play that nose tackle position. We might see him go out and trade for a linebacker, seeing how desperate we are for that position. So, or a true possession wide receiver, so where it might look like he turns into a buyer at the deadline, we have to take it with a grain of salt because most of the moves that Howie is going to make are either selling off pieces or buying pieces for next year and future years down the line. So it's not like we're going out and trading for, Allen Robinson for just the rest of the year.
Right.
We're trading for pieces going forward.
Do you think do you think that is what he's doing?
I don't know if I love
Right.
Tim McManus. Tim McManus is a smart guy.
Right.
He's got his finger on the pulse. If he says it, I'm not saying I'll believe it, but I will, take that and digest it pretty well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Look, Howie Roseman has not given us any faith in him whatsoever as a GM, which, it is what it is. Howie should go. We know that he's not going to go anytime soon. So we've got to at least look at what he's going to do and try to get into his head a little bit. And if he makes some moves for guys that are on expiring contracts, that's not good. But if he makes moves for controllable guys, then that's what he's doing. So, I mean, it's like 36 hours till the trade deadline. It's not like we have that long a period of time till we'll know where we're at with Howie Roseman.
Right. Yeah, 100%. I like the idea. If that's what Howie's doing, I really do like that idea. And if we can pull something off, that'd be great. I don't know how much I'm willing to really believe that Howie would do that. I also am not going to be part of the overreaction Monday that would also say that he would buy to win a Super Bowl this year. Mm-hmm. I think even Howie knows that this team is not good enough to really do that either. I think
they know it, but they always say that they keep him and Jeffrey Lurie. They keep saying we're not sellers, we're buying and stuff like that. They try to sell it to the fan base that they are.
Yeah,
so that can be frustrating.
Definitely can be, but excited to see how it keeps on going. I'm very excited.
So just real quick before we'll wrap up the Eagles here, before we get into some other talk. Anybody you think the Eagles should trade and try to get some value at? Because there's a lot of names I think they should trade. But I don't think they make that many moves really. So like if you were Howie right now, who would you be trying to sell and maximize value as we get 36 hours here from the trade deadline?
Depending on how big of names we're looking to do. If you're really looking, if you don't believe in this team, I would even say get rid of them bigger guys. If Fletcher Cox having a little bit of a better year and his value was a little bit higher, I would even say trade Fletcher Cox. to see what we can get. But right now he's had a pretty bad year, and I think his value is probably at an all-time low. So I feel like getting rid of him, we would not get much. But I think that Fletcher Cox having a better year, that's someone I want to get rid of. But any of these guys that are on expiring deals, and we can even get these 5th or 6th round picks, you never know what they can turn out to be. We've gotten some really good guys on late round picks. We've gotten Kelsey from a late round pick, Jordan Mailata, a lot of guys we've gotten from late round picks. I'm not saying it's likely that it would happen, but I'd rather trade for a 5th round pick than get nothing.
Yeah.
But,
Well,
Cox, that big name.
I mean, Andre Dillard obviously is a name that could get moved here. And he's played well enough in his 2 starts where it's not like you're not looking at a 7th round pick for a former 1st round pick. You might be able to get a 4th or 5th rounder now for him, or some kind of conditional pick for him. Fletcher Cox, unfortunately, how he screwed the pooch there, his extension that he signed a couple of weeks ago, the dead cap money for next year, I forget the exact number, but it's right around Carson Wentz's dead cap number for this year.
God,
it's insane. So if we trade Fletcher Cox, I don't know how you get out of that dead cap money portion of it. So I'm not a cap expert. I don't know how to fix that problem, but I think it's almost impossible that you trade him. But I mean, you could try to get Dark Barnett out of here for a conditional 5th round pick. Eric Wilson. I'd consider trading TJ Edwards. I know he led the team in tackles, but we got a lot of young linebackers. We're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
On this one, and I've been bashed left and right for it. I would consider trading Miles Sanders. We're not winning this year. We're not winning next year. In 2 to 3 years, when we're finally Super Bowl contenders, if everything goes right, Miles Sanders, the life of a running back is 4 or 5 years.
Yep.
He's already going to be in his 5th, 6th year by that point. You might be able to get, if he wasn't hurt right now, but definitely, but even still being injured, it's a minor injury. You could probably get a really good pick, a 3rd round pick maybe for him.
Yeah.
So that's something I would move and consider doing. Originally, before he got hurt, I talked about Brandon Graham getting traded. I know it breaks people's heart, but you got to look at the future, not just it's a business. You can't look at the emotional attachment to players.
Yeah.
And we're not going anywhere. So it's a longer rebuild than people think it is.
Mm-hmm.
So, moving some of these emotionally attached players, hell, I would even listen to offers for Dallas Goedert at this point. If you can get a 1st or 2nd round pick for Dallas Goedert, absolutely. Call Green Bay right now. They already wanted Zach Ertz last year.
Yep.
They have no tight end now. Their tight end's out for the season with a torn ACL.
Yeah.
I would call every team on every single player pretty much.
I'm totally okay with that. That is not something I expect out of you, Phil. I'm not gonna lie. Especially after about 15 minutes ago, you were like, "Hey, this team could win 9 games."
That was my overreaction there.
I know.
All right, so we'll talk more Eagles as this week goes on. But I just want to talk about the NFL as a whole yesterday. My summing up of yesterday in the NFL is that the NFL is so unpredictable. Week in to week out, you just don't know what is going to happen in the NFL. Is there a game? I mean, obviously there's one that jumps out off the page when you look at the box scores, but is there a game that really jumps off the board this week that really just didn't play out how you expected it?
Oh, that Jets game. That Jets game was insane. What's his name? Mike White? Is that his name? Oh, gosh. Never even heard of that guy before. Apparently he was drafted by Dallas in like the 5th round in 2018. And this guy just went.
That's great research on your part. I did no Mike White research before this show.
I know. I did it while I was watching the Jets game, and I'm like, Flacco's not in, or whoever.
He didn't
the hell
even dress
is
Flacco.
They didn't. I didn't even know. I was like, I know Zach Wilson's. I was like, who's their quarterback if Flacco's not playing? I see number 10, and I was like, or no, number 5, and I was like, who the hell is that? And it was Mike White, and I was like, that did not help me at all. So I had to look him up and see what he was really about. But that was definitely a game that caught my eye. I kept keeping my eye on that game. I don't think anyone had the Bengals losing to the Jets. I do power rankings.
That should have been a Bengals blowout. I mean,
it should have been.
And Joe Burrow have been tearing the NFL up the last 2-3 weeks.
Yep.
And look what happened there. I mean, that's insane. It just goes to show that any week. Look at even going back to Thursday night, the Packers beating the Cardinals.
Yeah.
Undefeated Cardinals team. Packers missing 3 wide receivers. Their tight ends out with a torn ACL, and they beat they go to Arizona and beat the Cardinals, the undefeated Cardinals. Or you could talk about Cooper Rush. Who again? Who? Cooper
Rush.
Rush beating the Vikings last night. I mean, everybody just jumped right off the Cowboys last night as soon as Dak was ruled out of that game.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, the Cowboys still won that game. If you're
Yeah.
a betting person and you took the Cowboys, you could have made some really serious cash last night because
Yep.
the payout on that was pretty strong.
Man, it was just a lot of crazy football. I mean, yeah, even some more games that Saints Bucks game that you just put up right here.
So I saw somebody. I took a snapshot of it right before we went on the air. So let me bring this up. Sean Payton and the Saints, their record against, like, we're talking Pro Bowl, Hall of Fame level quarterbacks is insane. And honestly is. Sean Payton just knows how to beat these guys.
Yeah.
So Sean Payton, again, including playoffs, he is 3-4 now in his career against Tom Brady.
Okay.
All right. 1-5 against Eli Manning, 2-3 against Rodgers, 1-3 against Roethlisberger, 0-2 against Rivers. So everything there says that they would lose that game.
Yeah.
But then what happened? They smoked. I mean, I know it was a little closer towards the end there, but they smoked them.
Yeah,
You know,
definitely.
it's insane to think how, everybody always says any given Sunday. This past week was exactly that.
Yeah, definitely. And did Jameis Winston ever come back into that game, or did
I think they said he tore his ACL.
Really? Well, I was watching that, and
Not
it was
confirmed,
hard
but
to watch.
Their preliminary reports are that he's got a torn ACL. So now he's done for the year.
And Trevor Siemian is the starting quarterback of the New Orleans
I
Saints.
would have assumed Tyson Hill would have been in there, but I guess maybe not.
He's
I don't
injured
know.
too. He's
Oh, is
injured
he? I
too.
mean, I missed that one. Sorry.
Yeah,
That
he's
one
injured
must have
too.
missed me there.
Yes.
Simeon was in there. I mean, Trevor Siemian had 29 passes yesterday.
Yeah.
So it's not like he was in there for 2 minutes against Tom Brady.
Nope.
He was in there for 29 passes.
Trevor
So-
Siemian beat Tom Brady yesterday.
Basically, yeah. Is that something you would have seen happening?
I don't know
And
what
really
happened this
makes
weekend.
tough. I know you are, and I'm a huge fantasy football guy, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm really big into the daily fantasy, DraftKings, and stuff like that. And you just can't predict what's going on.
No.
My best DraftKings lineup yesterday, okay, was in a lineup, and I stacked Geno Smith and the Seattle Seahawks, and they put up
Wow.
31 points.
Yeah,
You would've seen
wow.
that. Then we do our DraftKings show on Thursday nights, myself and Jason Sullivan, DFS no pun intended, and we do a little three-way, myself versus him versus whoever our guest is. We
Right.
each put $3 in the pot, winner takes all. And I had Trevor Lawrence stacked. And it was awful. It was a bad decision. But let me tell you something. Because of some of the other random guys I had on my team going off, I
Mhm.
still was able to win that league.
Wow. There you
So
go.
it's like any given Sunday, and the unpredictability of the NFL is making gambling and fantasy football so tough right now.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like yesterday was full of just some really good games. Like, games you just like the Patriots Chargers game. I didn't like the Patriots beat the Chargers yesterday.
Yeah.
Are the Chargers frauds right now? That is something that
Has to be
Hey,
asked.
I'm a little bit worried about it because I thought the Chargers were gonna be really good after this year. Again, I do power rankings on What the Football. We rank all 1 through 32 teams,
Mhm.
and I have always had the Chargers in my top 10. Like I thought they were really good, but they're now 4-3. There's something to worry about. Just a lot of really
How about Buffalo? I mean, I know they won 26-11, but
Not
going into the
comfortable,
fourth
though.
quarter, that game was 10-3.
yeah.
So that concerns me. The Dolphins are a terrible defense.
Yep.
You know, and if Buffalo can't score on them, what's that say about them?
Yep.
Who had Jimmy Garoppolo scoring 2 rushing touchdowns against the Bears yesterday?
What the hell was that? What was that?
I mean, it's insane. So
Well,
tonight we got the Giants versus the Chiefs.
yes.
You know, on Monday Night Football in Kansas City. Chiefs are reeling, obviously. You know, Patrick Mahomes does not look like Patrick Mahomes this year at all. Is this a get-right game for them? Is it the predictable game we expect? Or are the Giants going to show up to Monday Night Football and Danny Dimes is going to just, tear apart the Chiefs defense, which the Chiefs defense is not good.
I want to say there's no shot in hell that the Giants are going to win this game, but there's just something that's just like, I wouldn't be with how everything was going yesterday. I can't say anything for sure anymore. I cannot have confidence in the Chiefs right now. They got blown out by the Titans, and we have to get into that Titans Colts game after this too, because that was a great game. But I am a little bit worried about this Chiefs team and Patrick Mahomes. But the problem is with him is I think he has to play too much hero ball. He doesn't have everything around him. He doesn't have a good O-line. He's running for his life, and he has to play hero ball, and that usually doesn't work out with these kind of quarterbacks. Not everyone can be Aaron Rodgers.
No,
They really just can't be.
There's only a few that have ever been the Aaron Rodgers level, basically.
Exactly.
All right, so you wanted to talk about that the Titans game briefly. You can go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know if you looked at that Titans Colts game. That was a huge. We always have to find a way to talk about Carson Wentz on these Philly shows. I swear,
absolutely,
it always comes up.
Hey, it's important. Like, I went away from talking about Carson, but now because of the draft pick,
we kind
of have to talk about.
Yeah, and it probably went exactly the way that all Eagles fans could hope. They went into overtime. The Colts should have won. They were up 14-0 at one point. And at the end of the game, 1 minute left, Colts were going down for a drive, and they almost got a safety on Carson Wentz, but Carson Wentz flipped the ball, and they got a pick six. They caught it in the end zone. He got a pick six. Then Carson Wentz, the next drive, with 45 seconds, led them down the field, tied the game up, went into overtime, and Carson Wentz threw another interception in overtime. And the Titans scored a field goal and won the game. Now, how that helps us Eagles fans is that Carson Wentz still did look good. Besides them 2 interceptions, he looked great. So they're not going to bench him, and the Colts lost. So he's going to get all the snaps that are needed for us, and it's still going to give us a really good draft pick. It's still a top 10 pick for us.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I am concerned, and I don't know why they would do it because they're still trying to rebuild Carson as a quarterback. But there is that theory of people saying that Carson could get benched at the end of the season so that they maybe get that, only have to give us a second. But I don't buy into that because I really think the Colts need to continue building Carson. They're not that far. They're not like the Eagles where they're 5, 6, 7 pieces away.
Yeah.
They're, 1 or 2 pieces away from being a contender right now. So if by next year Carson gets his confidence up, they could be a really good team. They got Michael Pittman, who's breaking out as a stud wide receiver. Yeah. They got Taylor, a great running back. Maybe get him a good tight end. Work on that O-line a little bit.
Yeah.
And that team's a division, contender again. So I don't see the whole benching of Carson at the end of the season like others do. But you never know. So we just got to hope that he stays healthy. That's all there is to it.
Exactly. Hopefully he doesn't sprain both ankles in the same play again.
How's that even possible?
I don't know.
Oh man. All right. So, do you got a prediction for tonight's Monday Night Football game?
So if I really have a prediction, I still am going to go for the Chiefs. I'm not going to go with the underdogs here, and I hate the Giants with every ounce in my body. So I'm definitely going to go to Chiefs win. I don't think it's going to be comfortable. My score prediction for the Eagles over the Lions was 21-17 Eagles. I'm going to go a little bit more similar. I think it's going to be more offensive heavy. So I think it's going to be somewhere around like 31-28, something like that. I think it's going to be really close. I really do. But I think the Chiefs will come out on top, but they're not going to look comfortable at all. So, yeah, that's definitely going to give me my prediction for tonight's game.
I'm seeing a blow up by the Chiefs. I really am.
Okay.
Yeah, I see something like 41-21. This is a get right. The Giants defense is really bad. And maybe it starts out slow. But I think as long as Patrick Mahomes plays and is healthy, which seems like he is playing and all, I think this is his get right. The Giants defense can't stop Kelsey and on all those offensive weapons. So this is their get right game. All the Kansas City hype train, the Patrick Mahomes hype train is going to be reignited tonight. And the Eagles are going to be sole possession of second place come tomorrow morning when we do the show. Because if the Giants win, we're tied for second place. But right now we're solo second place with that loss.
Solo second. I like it.
Second. Because when we get to 9 wins this year, overreaction.
Yeah.
We're right there. hey, I can go over the schedule and find 10 wins maybe. Who knows?
I mean, it's things that could happen. It's just the probability of it. We also should have won some other games earlier this year too. So,
all right, let's transition here. Real quick before we transition, this is Trending in the AM every single Monday through Friday at morning, 8:30 a.m. Myself, Phil Stiefel, Jeremy Horwath here from DSM Media. We're going to be bringing you all different topics, not just Eagles, all sports, all teams, everything here. We got guests lined up, so much going on, and we are sponsored by Manscaped. Make sure you use your promo code DSM for 20% off and free shipping. The holidays are coming up soon. Take care of the guys in your life, with something great from Manscaped. And make sure you use our promo code when you check out DSM. So let's transition to basketball real quick. The NBA, 6-7 game tonight against Portland. Saturday night, probably their best win of the season, early season against the Hawks. Did you take any positives away from that game against the Hawks? And did you? I didn't, but some people say it was kind of like a a revenge, like get good feelings game because of the way the Hawks series went to end the playoffs last year?
So I didn't really look at it in that way.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything really like that. I mean, if it sparked the players and that's what happened, sure, fine. Whatever got you to play that way, the way that they played Saturday night, they just completely handled them. Not something that again I would have really seen. But I was definitely happy with how everything happened on Saturday night, 122-94. I mean, that's just a great game, and that's all I can really say. They did their job. Everyone came out and they just played good ball. But that's pretty much how I saw Saturday night going. But yeah, I don't think it was anything where they were like, hey, that playoffs time happened, got us out of that. But if that's what sparked them, keep thinking that way about every team. I don't care how the hell it works. However we get a 30-point win over a team like that, I'm gonna be happy every time.
Yeah. So I'm the same way. I didn't look at it as a revenge or anything like that. But like you said, if they use that for motivation, great. All more power to them.
Yeah.
I like that we took care of business. We were able to put it away. Joel, Tobias, they got a little bit of rest. I still see the need for Ben Simmons or a fair trade value for Ben Simmons because I still see, even in a game there, there's a weakness on this team. They don't have Maxey. He's going to develop maybe, but there's a lot of pressure being put on Tyrese Maxey. The defense is definitely struggling without Ben Simmons. So I really, really hope that Daryl Morey could figure something out soon because, you need time to develop chemistry with a team. And Ben Simmons just sitting there. I know I'm in the minority saying this. If he's ready to play, I'm putting him out there.
I am too, actually. I'm actually with you there.
Good. I know when I say that, everyone's like, no way, you can't play him.
Yeah.
I'm like, why not? You know what I mean?
No.
The team's obviously lacking without him and his perimeter defense.
100%. I would actually completely agree with you. I'm not a Ben Simmons guy. I want him off the team more as much as any other person. I want him off the team. But right now, he's still on this team, and I mean, he's still. We did really well with him last year. He's a big reason why we did make playoffs. That he does. How he plays the game, he helps this team and makes us play better. Now playoff time, that might be a little bit of a different story, but right now, while we have him and he's probably going to get traded, use him while we can. I mean, he's going to help us. I know everything that was going on in that practice and everything, and apparently came back and talked to all the players. Whatever happened with that, I'm sure everyone can work it out. Everyone has had beef on teams before. Like, not that these two are as good as how the two I'm about to bring up, but Kobe and Shaq had beef, so much beef, and they won 3 titles together. I mean, not that they are at their caliber. But yeah, they can figure it out until he gets traded. I think he knows that he's going to be getting traded. Obviously, that's what he wants. But yeah, I do agree with you. Use him while you can. Whenever he's ready to go, put him in. Yeah.
So tonight we've got, in my opinion, it's must-watch TV for me tonight because it's my favorite non-Sixer NBA player coming to town tonight. The guy I wanted for Ben Simmons in a trade, which I knew was unrealistic, but it is what it is. Dame Lillard and the Portland Trailblazers come to town tonight. They're struggling to start the season, just like the Hawks. They're 3-3. They lost last night to Charlotte. So they're now second half of a back-to-back. Damian Lillard's having an off season. I think he's only averaging like 18 points a game right now. CJ McCollum's actually leading the team in scoring right now. Can we find a way so that by the end of the game tonight, Damian Lillard just takes his bag and just walks across the hall to the Sixers locker room and just change? I mean, that would be the ideal situation. We win the game. We embarrass the Trailblazers. Portland or Damian Lillard goes to his coach, says, "Yo, I'm going next door," and that's that. That's my overreaction dream scenario for the day.
I guess we can all dream, can't we? That was probably you last night while you were sleeping. You're just dreaming. Damian Lillard picks up the bags and just walks over to the other locker room.
I could just see it, dude. I'll go carry his bags for him if he doesn't want to carry his own bags. I will personally carry his bags from one locker to the other. I really do. But
I wish there was a way.
Yeah, I mean, there's always a way. But the first step of the equation is Damian Lillard asking for the trade, which he has not done yet. So as of this moment, that can't happen. And I honestly, truly believe that Daryl Morey is holding out hope that Damian Lillard or Bradley Beal request a trade. And the Washington Wizards are one of the hottest teams to start the year. So Bradley Beal isn't asking anytime soon.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
The only hope Daryl Morey has is that the Blazers continue to spiral downhill. The Sixers beating them tonight would be another step in that equation.
Yeah.
And maybe by game 10, 12, you start to see Damian Lillard, ask for out. I don't know. We can hope.
Definitely.
Onto the game itself, I think the Sixers can win. It's really hard for a team to play back-to-back on the road, going from Charlotte to Philly, playing again tonight against another good team. It's not the game that Portland will get right. So it's another game that the Sixers should be able to handle, just like the Hawks game. Maybe they don't win by 20-something, but they should handle their business tonight and take care of Portland in front of their home crowd.
I definitely think they will. This has got to be Philly's game. And especially with Damian Lillard not playing as well as, Damian Lillard's status. If it stays that way, I think it should be a pretty handled victory. At least in my eyes, unless something crazy happens, like McCollum's going to drop 40 out of nowhere, or if this is the game that Damian Lillard finally shows up. But they definitely could happen. But I do think this can be a pretty comfortable win for the Sixers tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. One final thing I'll touch on is I just want to see Joel Embiid get right with his knee as well. And something I've talked about, and I know I'm going to be on Scotty Talks NBA tonight with him and with Zach Noble, 8:30 tonight. Just Joel Embiid, his knee and his conditioning, he just looks so off. Even before he banged his knee in game 1, he just didn't look himself. So I really want to see us win some of these games handily so we could rest Joel. You know what I mean? And I would like to see Ben Simmons come back so Joel can have a game off occasionally. So it's something that's concerning and something we have to monitor throughout the season here. Joel's knee and his health. I mean, it's crazy that by game 6, he's already banged up, out of shape, and hurt.
Yep. It really sucks because he's such a great player, and the fact that injuries can just derail people this much. And the thing is, we knew that when we got him. We knew that when we got him that he was going to have these issues. Now, did we think it was going to last this long? Probably not, or at least we were hoping not.
Well,
but that's how.
The one thing I said that the second we drafted, I mean, 7'2", 285-pound guys. I mean, they just don't have you don't consistently see multiple of them have long, healthy careers. Just that size of a body. There's just so much, wear and tear on your body and your knees and everything else. You're just bound to break down. I mean, it's the obvious thing that jumps out is Yao Ming. It just, you just can't stay healthy for a long time when you're that size. So
100%.
All right, so Sixers win tonight.
Yeah, I definitely have the Sixers win tonight over the Trailblazers.
All right. Well, we'll see that tomorrow morning when we're back here live tomorrow.
Yep.
One final topic before we wrap this show up. I will admit I have not watched, but I know you've paid close attention. World Series, Game 5 last night. Houston won to extend the series to a Game 6. I think it was 9-5. Houston beat the Braves. I'll just say I'll let you break the game down and where this series is at. But I mean, it's really hard for me to get into this World Series. I said it before we went on the air. The Braves, they're my number one rivals. I've been going to Braves Phillies games my whole life. Which is double plus your life. Okay. So I can't root for the Braves, but the Astros. There's still a lot of the guys from the cheating Astros on that team, so I can't root for the Astros.
Yeah,
so
it's hard.
Torn, so I kind of as soon as they were the teams that were in the World Series, I checked out. If it was the Astros against somebody else, I could have rooted against the Astros, or if it was someone else against the Braves, I could have root against the Braves. But this is a series that I can't buy into. So, are the Braves winning this series, or does the Astros have a chance at making the miraculous 3-1 comeback?
I do have the Braves winning this. I've actually had that all series long, and I did not have the Braves going to the World Series. I had Dodgers. But the Braves have just been showing up, and I don't know how. Braves had 88 wins this year. They had their star player Ronald Acuna out for the majority of this year. They were down 3rd in the division, came all the way back up, won the division over Philly and over the Mets. Ronald Acuna was out. Their best starting pitcher, Mike Soroka, has been out all year. And then only thing that their GM did is they made trades for these good depth pieces. You got some other guys over there. They traded for Jock Peterson, Adam Duvall, Jorge Soler, a bunch of guys that just mashed baseballs, and that was not worth a lot at the time. And they came in, and they are some really big reasons why this team is playing that well. Pretty much that, and just they have one of the best coaches in the league in Brian Snitker. I don't know what's really going on over there, but they just found some sort of momentum, and they had a 3-1 lead before last night over Houston, and I don't see them losing it after yesterday. I mean, the Braves started off with a grand slam. in yesterday's game in the first inning. Had a grand slam. They did, and they lost 9-5. I wasn't able to watch the whole game. I actually went to a Union game last night.
Okay.
I got free tickets, and I went to a Union game.
Union games are a blast, and I'm working on bringing some Union content onto
Yeah.
this show.
It is energetic there. It is nuts. This first Union game I ever went to. But yeah, so this World Series has been a lot of fun, a lot of back and forth like games, just really close games. Last night was probably the furthest score gap, being 9-5 in the series. So it's just been very interesting. I'm very excited to see the rest of the series. It sucks. I feel I hate, again, I'm with you. I hate both teams that are in this World Series. I'm not cheering for either one. I'm just loving seeing good baseball, and this is some of the best baseball.
I saw somebody say the other day. I mean, again, you weren't born for the '90s, early mid '90s Brave run. You know,
I was not.
You know, with the what is this? Hold on, we got breaking news here.
Whoa!
Oh, hold on. Let's. We might be extended here for a few minutes here.
Whoa!
I'm bringing ESPN back up on my screen.
Yeah,
I don't see anything on ESPN's website here about this. You know, Adam might be messing with us here. I don't know. I bring up, Adam's a good source for mid show information here. But let's see here. That could change everything. That puts the Colts. That gives the Colts a chance at that division even. I'm just saying that my man Sam Wagman just said that you're telling me the Eagles are going to trade Boston Scott or Jordan Howard to the Titans because of Derrick Henry being out. So maybe this is something that actually is happening here. Yeah, Adam Schefter suffered a potential season-ending foot injury at the end of the game. He's undergoing an MRI, so it's not official that he's out for the season. But there's a really good chance of that. Wow, that's huge breaking news.
That's huge.
And we'll find out the MRI today. And guess what? We do this show every single morning.
Yeah,
8:30 a.m. So Braves are winning the World Series.
Yes.
As I was going to say, it's the mid '90s, early '90s Braves were just such fun teams to watch.
Oh my god!
You had the Greg Maddoxes, the John Smoltz. You had so many great players on those teams, and it was great to root against them too as a Phillies fan.
Mm-hmm.
So the Braves being good, if the Phillies could also be good, would make baseball very entertaining in the city of Philadelphia again.
That'd be nice. And there's a lot of good free agents out this year. John Middleton's got to be the one to actually spend the money.
We're gonna dive into that stuff so much throughout this winter. I can't wait to talk Phillies off season. I'm just waiting for the MVP vote to come down so I can cash my Bryce Harper MVP ticket that I bet before the season.
Did you?
I did before the season. So I got a ticket. I'm waiting to see him hit the MVP. I'm gonna be so heartbroken. Wow. Not just because I thought Bryce Harper should win MVP, but also because I got a ticket sitting there. 15 or 16 to 1, whatever it was. Wow. I got that sitting there in my FanDuel account. Just
good for you.
Hey, I won't lie. I bet one Philadelphia sports athlete to win the MVP in their league every single year.
Okay.
So it's not like I thought. I bet Joel last year to win MVP. I bet Jalen Hurts this year to win MVP.
Okay, I got you.
I didn't really bet anybody on the Flyers. Working on Flyers content too. We're gonna try to. I got my boy Jason Voorhees. He's a credentialed Flyers member of the media part time. So we're gonna bring him in once a week or so to talk some Flyers hockey, get us some Flyers updates because honestly, the Flyers take the back burner because I'm so focused on baseball, football, and basketball right now.
Yeah, me too. But I've been trying to watch some more Flyers.
I think they're 4-2 right now.
Yeah.
They had a rough loss to I think it was Calgary on Saturday night, but outside of that, they got 4 points on their 4-game road trip, so that's a pretty strong showing for them. So there's some positivities with the Flyers and the Union, like you said. They're entertaining, but they're also the only team that's a lock to be in a playoff team right now. So the Union, there's good things. We're going to be 5 for 5 on this show for sure.
Yeah.
All right, that's it for me today. Jeremy, you got anything else before we wrap this up?
No, I think that's pretty much it. I'm very excited already for tomorrow morning. We got some really good stuff lined up. You said Scotty Talks tonight at 8:30, right? You're joining?
Yeah, Scotty Talks at 8:30. We got Zach Noble from Ball's Life on, and I'm not sure if the Faithful Fanatics will be on today at 5 or not, but just make sure you're tapped into DSM Media, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, all the sites. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, that follow button. The DSM. I mean, now with our 5 days a week here, I think we're up to 15 shows a week on DSM Media
and 7 days a week. We have a show we are now, since we have a show on Fridays now, because we have one at 8:30 in the morning. We are now 7 days a week. We have at least one show. Yeah,
DSM is taking over. You don't need the dial. You don't need TV.
Nope.
You just stay on DSM Media. We've got it. We
Got
it.
everything.
And, yeah, we got everything. We got all 5 sports covered.
Yep.
Hell, I guarantee you, when WrestleMania season rolls around, and I'll even drop you some wrestling knowledge on Trending in the AM just for WrestleMania season. So
that's good with me. I watch wrestling.
all right,
So
there
you're
you go.
good. It's perfect.
All right, so
That's
Trending
perfect.
in the AM, 8:30 a.m. Monday through Friday, right here on DSM Media. Brought to you by Manscaped. Again, holidays are coming. They'll be here before you know it. Use promo code DSM. Get you 20% off and free shipping. As I always say, your balls and your significant other will thank you.
Yep.
I don't even know if I could say that in 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning. I always say it at 10:30 at night when my shows are over. We're going to say it at 8:30 in the morning. Whatever. We get a ding on YouTube. Whatever. Hey,
It's all right.
It's all good. Anyway, for Jeremy, I'm Phil. Everybody have a great day. I almost said great night because that's how I always close out a show.
Yeah.
But great day. We will see you tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m. with lots more great content. Everybody have a great day.
Yep. Go Birds.
Go Birds.